what no one is telling you about being in your 20s. Have you ever felt the immense pressure to fit in? That you changed yourself into someone that you're not? For me, I was easily influenced by others to the extent of doing certain things against my own will. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I used to have flings when my friends pressured me into it, thinking it was cool. Don't get me wrong, I know some of you may enjoy the temporary pleasure of flings, but that does not align with my higher self. Looking back, it was exactly why I struggled to love myself, much less fulfill my highest potential, as I was completely lost and unsure of myself that I allowed others to define who I am. That act of self-betrayal stems from years of feeling unworthy and inability to trust my intuition. I did not feel confident in my own skin. I was seeking validation from the wrong people that were also struggling to love themselves, and most importantly, I failed to honor myself. No one told me that I could embrace my flaws when all I've ever known was to criticize it. However, there is a fine line between owning it and shaming it. Shame focuses on the past, which is something we can't change, while taking ownership makes you powerful and more accepting of others. I wish I knew this sooner, but the worst trait you can have is playing it safe by not expressing your truth in any situation. Once you deny your own voice intentionally by avoiding to say anything triggering, and constantly phrasing your words in a way that people would like to hear, you are not doing yourself any justice. You have to show others that you are not afraid to take up space and speak up. Be highly opinionated if that's who you are, so you can stay true to yourself regardless of how others may perceive you. Have you ever felt like no matter what you do to try to gain other people's approval, it just seems like a never-ending cycle of dependency where your self-worth is tied to external validation? As I grow older, I began to realize that authenticity will take you to places that people-pleasing never could. Who cares if anyone likes you or not? As long as you love yourself, nothing else really matters. Okay, let's be real. I never had an issue with being seen in public, but I developed a fear of being seen on social media. Since young, I always get comments like, "Oh, you don't look good in photos," or "You just don't look the same on camera." I don't know if these comments were meant to be spiteful, but it really hurts me. I had no idea how much this has affected my self-esteem until I noticed that I rarely take photos or videos of myself unless I was overseas. So can you imagine how uncomfortable I am recording myself in front of a camera and talking to random people online? It's a huge milestone for me. One thing I knew for sure was that I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to grow and evolve into my higher self. Listen up. You set the bar on how much someone is comfortable disrespecting you. What if we raise the bar to the level where it becomes uncomfortable for anyone to disrespect you? How would that feel? I'm at a season of my life when saying no to certain things means saying yes to myself by protecting my precious time and energy. You will soon realize that self-respect has to come before anything else. By taking the time to reflect on what truly matters to you, you are learning to uphold your boundaries. You'll be surprised that some people may try to manipulate you and make you doubt yourself. They may call you sensitive or claim that you are overreacting and it's not that serious. Here's what no one is telling you about. People who don't have boundaries simply lack the capacity to understand yours. So you don't have to over-explain yourself or defend your values. The truth is, you have to respect yourself first before others can respect you. What if I told you that respect is not something you demand, it's something you embody? People, regardless of men or women, will test your limits all the time, especially when they are in the initial stages of getting to know you. They want to see how you react to being ghosted, spoken to in a condescending tone, or basically anything you're willing to put up with. Here's a reminder that people often show you exactly how they feel about you. Most of the time, you just aren't paying attention or you simply ignore the red flags right in front of you. Have you ever found yourself overthinking every text, analyzing every little detail, and feeling completely consumed by someone who barely puts in effort or gives you the time of the day? If they ignore you for 3 weeks and decide to come back, will you take them back? Once you show them that you're okay with being mistreated by being easily accessible, they will think that you are weak, desperate, and clearly don't know your worth. you have to understand that the lack of self-respect is embarrassing. The best thing I ever did was to remove myself from the situation and reward them with my absence. Do you know that having self-control will naturally eliminate your destructive thought patterns and actions? It also makes you more attractive. Though I have to admit that the process to achieve self-control wasn't easy, it was definitely worth it. Once you decide to shift your focus to building a growth mindset, you will not entertain anyone or anything that does not bring you peace. Here's the harsh truth you may not be ready to hear, but the same man who ghosted you can give someone else the princess treatment. Why is that? Most men may not admit it, but they appreciate being told what you're not willing to put up with and firmly uphold it without a doubt or hesitation. Never be afraid to put yourself first, assuming you have a list of non-negotiables and you tell him as it is, rather than being a doormat. In fact, why should you be terrified of speaking up for yourself? If someone is not respecting your boundaries or feels offended by you prioritizing your well-being, they're just taking advantage of your kindness. This is a message for anyone struggling to let go of their ego. No matter how much you like someone, you simply can't control how someone treats you, but you can control how you respond and where you invest your time and energy. Just imagine for a second, you're walking into a luxury designer store and you see an exclusive limited edition bag. Do you negotiate the price with the sales assistant? No, because you recognize the value that is associated with the brand. If anyone wants it, they purchase it at retail price. Is it just me, or have you ever seen Chanel or Hermes go on sale? Remember that you are the ultimate luxury. If someone wants to be in your life, they have to step up and meet your standards. Don't ever lower your price or put yourself on bargain just to keep someone in your life. The moment you start acting like he's the price, you give away all of your power. Based on this context, I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is the most honorable thing you can do? Would you give in to disrespect just because you like someone? Or would you redirect all that energy into yourself? The latter is a game changer. Of course, you should always invest all of your time into building a skill or hobby that uplifts you or work towards your goals. If you don't love yourself enough to do that, how do you expect anyone to love you? The more you invest in yourself, the less you will tolerate anything or anyone that doesn't meet your standards. You can't keep abandoning yourself and expect to feel whole. What if I told you that God or the universe will never give you peace in something you are not meant to settle in? Many women are stuck believing that they won't get anyone better if they let go of their current partner who is no longer serving them. The right man who truly values you will pursue you, and he will never require you to convince your worth. Once you have outgrown the version of you who tolerated the bare minimum, please don't go back just because it's familiar. If I can give you one advice, it would be to not jeopardize your growth for someone who does not see your inherent value. You owe it to yourself to do what's best for you, and you will soon realize that the moment you start loving yourself, life starts loving you too. So, how would you treat yourself from now on? Let me know your thoughts. We've come to the end of the second episode for Season 1. I appreciate you for being here and hope to see you soon. Bye!